Hey guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. So today I really want to dig into the problem with credit card debt and minimum payments. So if you're familiar with what I teach, you know that I'm fully against credit cards and having debt. But I think it's important to show you why I have this stance when it comes to debt. Because yes, you may be able to see a credit card balance that's $1,000 and it may not look so bad. But you may not realize is that when you add up the amount of interest that you end up paying over time, you're literally getting robbed. And I always want you to have all the information you need to make the smartest and wisest decision for you and your money. So let's talk about it. Before we start, I want to tell you about Telestrations. So Telestrations is a really fun game that you can play with friends, with family, with neighbors. And if you think of the old school game of telephone and Pictionary, combine them together, and you have Telestrations. We played this with even my team here at work, and we were laughing so hard because at the end, you see the phrase that was originally the phrase, and then the picture, and it is so funny, you guys. It just is a great game. It's really easy to learn and to understand, so you can play with kids as long as they can read and write. They're able to play with you. So start making memories today and buy Telestrations at Walmart or wherever you buy games. All right, first of all, it may sound really simple, but let's go over how credit works in the first place. So you go and you swipe a credit card and you are borrowing the bank's money, and they charge you what's called interest, which is a small fee to use their money. Now, if you don't pay it in full, that is when you start paying interest. And so people, again, pay their credit card balance off in full at the end of every month. Some people do. Less than half of Americans actually do. And then the remaining half carry on a balance month to month. So it's you actually not using your own money for the purchase, but you're using the bank's money, which is debt. So it can sound really great, right? I mean, how wonderful these credit card companies are just to give you some money for your shopping spree. Well, the kicker is that you're agreeing to pay them back every single penny and then some, because along with credit card debts, again, comes interest. And interest is that fee that you have to pay on top of the original balance. And this is where it gets really depressing really quickly. So you're watching good, smart people being completely weighed down by thousands of dollars in credit card debt. And this is why I'm really passionate about it. People get stuck in this, you guys. It's in a really bad cycle. And I see it a lot that people just lean on credit card debt just this once. And again, it rolls over month to month and something else comes up. They don't have the money for it, so they charge it and it ends up getting out of control. So by choosing to make minimum payments on even just a small amount of credit card debt, you're literally agreeing to pay close to double of the original cost. So for example, let's say that you pay 2% of your total credit card debt, which is $1,000. And that's going to be $20. So $20 sounds pretty doable. But if you put that payment on autopilot and did just the bare minimum and just passively paying it off till it's gone, it would take $2,126 and more than 16 years to erase that credit card debt if you just stick with that minimum payment. So that means you're paying more than double than what you would have paid in the first place of that $1,000 expense. And it would take 16 years. And that's more time that I'm recommending. Obviously, you pay off any debt, even your mortgage. I'm like, people pay off their mortgage in 7 years. So I'm not saying that this is what you have to do, but it's just showing the power that it can have. So let's talk about what you could be doing with that money instead of sending it to the bank. Well, first, there's a simple concept of just paying for things in cash. So this brings a lot of peace if you're able to cash flow major and minor purchases. Because again, who wants to pay off that kitchen appliance over 16 years? Like, no, you don't want to keep paying that month to month. So instead, get on a monthly budget, set yourself up for the future to say, okay, what is coming up? Where do we need to set money aside for emergencies or other things? That's called a sinking fund, and save over time. Now, another thing that debt and minimum payments can keep you from doing is investing and building wealth. So for example, let's say you took that $20 minimum payment every month, and instead of paying the bank that, you invested that for 16 years. Well, you would have more than $9,000. So instead of losing $2,000 of your own money, you could have made $9,000 by just investing. And if you invested that $20 over another 20 years, you could have $84,000 instead of a negative $2,126. So understanding that paying interest is a price that you're paying, okay? It gets into the negatives versus actually investing it and making interest and compound interest. That's a beautiful thing. All right, now that we covered the practical mathematical reasons that minimum payments are not wise, or any payments really, let's talk about the bigger picture, because on a larger scale, I believe there's so much power in commitment. And when you commit to putting in effort and hard work, not only do you see external progress, but more importantly, your character starts to change internally. Who wants to be going through life on just the bare minimum payment? You should not just have to survive this life, you guys. You should be able to transform and grow in a really meaningful way. And it's not like you have to suffer for years and years before you see the fruits of your labor. I'm not asking you to never buy anything that brings you joy or anything in life, okay? That's not the case. But I am asking you to live within your means. So whatever that looks like for you, it's a really wise move. And this is the only way that you're able to create margin in order to chase those bigger future financial dreams that you have. So a little bit of sacrifice today of maybe saying no to some of the bigger stuff that you want in life. It's amazing to say no right now to some of that so that in the future you can say yes. I saw a reel on Instagram the other day from one of my friends. Her name's Erica, and she does a great job with some of her money content. And it was a really great illustration between the difference of someone who's just getting by with their spending and someone who chooses to be smart with their money. And it was her playing both sides of the coin, but it was even talking about getting a raise at work and careers. And it's like you just start out and one friend's like, oh my gosh, let's go out to eat and celebrate and let's, go enjoy our money. And the other one's like, I'll go enjoy some of it, but also I want to invest some money. And then they come back in 10 years and this friend's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go and do all this stuff and buy a new car and get designer bags and all this. And the other friend was like, I'm probably going to enjoy some of it, but I'm also going to invest. So that was the story. And then as you play it out, the friend that kept investing, they're like 55 years old or whatever. And she's like, hey, let's go retire and travel and hang out. And this friend's like, what? No, I still have to work for another 15 years. I don't have any money. So it was just so funny to see the difference and yes, making some sacrifice in the short term does set you up better for the long term. So I hope you're starting to see how debt and that idea of just living in the moments, and sometimes even if you don't have the money, you're still buying the stuff, can put you in a deep hole. And credit cards, you guys, it's the avenue to that. It is. So just stop and think twice before you do it. Now, if you're interested in stopping the endless cycle, make sure to check out the Ramsey Baby Steps. This is a great place to start. This is our 30-year-old tried and true method that teaches you how to prioritize the basic money principles to achieve your financial goals. And the Baby Steps will actually show you how to make progress instead of just staying complacent in a system that's designed to really keep you stagnant and paycheck to paycheck. So to find out more information on the Baby Steps and much more, go to RamseySolutions.com and send this video to a friend who may need a little wake-up call when it comes to their credit card spending. So remember, you guys, as always, to take control of your money and create a life you love.